Hello, everybody. Once again, you're welcome. See, here's the thing. In a society that has been bedraggled with economic crisis, it is very normal, or it's become very common for the youth to begin asking questions like, what becomes of us in our world and in our time, or in this age and time? So there's so many questions that are being asked. Most has been answered, and some are yet to be tackled. And today we are here to look at few of those questions, and also to see if it's going to be possible for them to be answered by people in that field or in that area. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Lifestyle Show here on What TV. Asime your girl EJ, the host for the show. If you haven't followed the Lifestyle playlist, please do follow us on follow the Lifestyle playlist on What TV, YouTube. Like, subscribe, share. Once again, you all are welcome. Today we'll be looking at a topic which says that how is the economic crisis shaping the future of the youth? Like I said, I'm here with two lovely people. Faces you guys are not very familiar with because, I think you might be familiar with them. Depends. So we'll just begin with introducing. I'll begin with Mr. Leonard, right?
Yeah, Leonard.
How are you doing, sir?
I'm good.
It's nice having you here. Please, can you introduce yourself?
Okay, my name is Abraham Leonard.
Okay.
And I'm popularly known as Kedo.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm an accountant but not practicing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so...
All right then. Nice having you here.
Oh, thank you.
And then we have Pastor Wisdom Anyi. Sir, did I pronounce it well?
Yes.
I can never forget that name. So please, can you introduce yourself?
Thank you so much.
Yes,
I'm Pastor Wisdom Uchai by name.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm a human resource manager.
Okay.
Yeah, by profession.
Thank you very much. And once again, he's also the senior pastor
pastor of Renewal Chapel International.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much, both of you, for coming.
Thank you.
They are actually very busy, or they are busy people, but it's the way they ASAP, like, no problem, we are coming for me. Like, so thank you very much, sir. Thank you both also for coming.
Thank you.
All right, so let's begin with understanding what economic crisis is. What's your understanding of it?
Okay, when we talk about economic crisis,
right?
Like, the scientists, let me just use scientists for example. They'll say before you can be able to solve your problem,
right, you should
be able to define it.
Okay.
So we are going to look at the word crisis and economy.
Right.
So we talk about economy. Economy is talking about the state of a state, maybe organization, a country, when it comes to the available resources.
Okay.
When they want to produce, consume, and the supply of money.
Okay.
So the resources for production, consumption, and the supply of what? Money. And then crisis. When we talk about crisis is talking about basically a problem people are facing at a particular point in time due to some certain factors, mainly when a system that the people have been relying on for a particular time begins to fail. So that is when we are looking at crisis. So we have to know what is making the system fail. So joining them together, we're just looking at how resources that are used to produce, consume, and the supply of money, do you get it? The system that controls all those things when it is no longer working. So that is the idea.
Okay. All right, sir. So how about you?
Okay, thank you so much. I think looking at economic crisis, we are looking at a difficult time.
He's giving us more like okay.
A time of emergency when there is a need for something for solution.
A change, kind of.
For a solution, for a change, where people are stuck in a problem that they don't create by themselves, but by the system or by the economical system of the country, beginning to affect the people. Just like today we are looking at the youth aspect of it. Why the youth are suffering, what are they facing? Yes, that's the what I want to say about it.
All right, so do we agree that this economic crisis is affecting the youth?
Yes, sure.
Why?
It's affecting the youth in so many ways because, like I said, is a problem. It's an emergency situation. Now, when the youth are that they have been affected in economics, and we look at table of preference, when there's a supply, when everything is a surplus, when people have things in surplus, they do things anyhow. They spend anyhow. They do things anyhow. They don't think before doing things. They don't consider the table of preference. Which one will I do first, or which one will I do second? But when there's crisis, I tell you, everybody, including the fool, begin to think. Okay, now another question: how is it then affecting the youth? I think the first thing you answered was why. Now the next one is how. How is it affecting the youth? It's affecting the youth in so many ways. Okay. For example, in the world of their spending, it's affecting them. Okay. A youth now that have not gotten a house for himself, for example, right, want to pay a house rent. He's thinking. Somebody who is working and is being paid because there's economic crisis, the salary per se has been reduced, and what he's earning now can no longer afford his lifestyle, his life style. The savings can no longer do anything for him, right. So he's in trouble. The things affecting him. He's thinking, what will I do first? Which one will I do now? How do I help myself? And if you look at our world today, in this side of the world, you have yourself to take care of. You have your family. Some have even extended families to take care of. And when this crisis is everywhere, it's making them mad. The youth is running mad, and if you're not careful, they begin to do things that they're not supposed to do, because the economy is not stable. Mr. Kedu, what do you have to say about this? Okay, when we are looking at how economic crisis affects the youth, yes, it just boils down to some certain factors that I want to establish. Okay. You know, we said when a system fails, that creates the crisis. Right. And crisis is a product of mismanagement. Okay. So when there is mismanagement somewhere, then there is going to be a crisis. Now, let me give you an instance. If, let's say, I am working and I'm earning money and I don't have plans for my money and I mismanage my money, at the end of the day, I'm going to be in crisis. Let's say if I spend my money on frivolous things, then necessities arise, then I will not be able to meet it, then that is crisis. Right. So looking at it from the financial aspect, we know that every youth in every country, for anybody to thrive, like any youth to thrive, they need resources. Right. Now let me just put one example: money. Now if the system has failed, there are certain things you'll be looking at. Let me give you one instance, like inflation. Let me use Nigeria as an example. We know from the last time, from the research I made, I realized that the minimum wage of Nigeria is like 30,000 naira. Yes. And now, in that particular situation, people are being paid 30,000 naira, and there is a crisis. Prices of things are increasing. Now, a bag of rice in Nigeria is like 100,000. Right. So I earned 30,000. I cannot even buy a bag of rice. Right. I earned 30,000. I cannot pay house rent. Medical bills and all those things are going up. So you see, at the end of the day, I am going to be affected. Do you get it? So inflation is killing my labor, the things I work for, my earnings, and I'm not going to have money to be able to meet with my basic need. Talk more of the project that I have to meet. So can I ask you a question? Okay, no problem. If you are being taught entrepreneurship in school, yes, that's you're doing practical instead of theory, yes, should the economic crisis be a problem to you? Well, if I'm being taught entrepreneur in school and I'm to practicalize it now, right, yes, economic crisis, I will still have to complain, because if I am into production, let's say I'm into production and there is a crisis, the prices, the things I produce, there are inputs. Do you get it? There are factors of production, things I need to put in place before I can produce whatsoever I produce to sell. Now the prices of all those things will go high, and that means it's going to cost me more money to meet up with the demand, so it will affect me. Yes, you want to say something? Yes, I have to say something. You know, one of the issues there is this: as if you're an entrepreneur, right, that's good. It's a good one to help. But the problem we have using school as an instance in Africa, right, we study to beg. We end up as our youth end up as a student. They come out with their certificate. Right. The first letter they write is "I beg to apply." Wow. Okay. They begin to beg instead of creating jobs. So the problem we have, even in the school system, something have to be done. Number one, they should teach our children, our youth, how to be creative, how to be entrepreneur. Practical one, not just coming out as an entrepreneur and they can't do anything. They are still looking for a place to work. just like my colleague is saying. Now, if we are working for someone automatically, like the minimum wage now 30,000 from what he said, and the price of rice and other things, you can't afford it. So right now, what do you need to do? You need to now do something, produce something by yourself. But the prices of those things too, you're still going to buy those materials to produce it. So I think that is where the government have to create hope for the youth.
Even when the hope are being created, you do know that Mr. Wisdom just established something, which is the fact that we actually come out to beg, which is true. Most of us actually go to school for going sake.
Of course.
Parents these days push their children to go into school because, okay, let's be that they've experienced, let's be that they've experienced 4 years of university. It's now when they get to school, some of them begin to ask questions like, what can I do with my hand? And in most cases, we come out not knowing what to do. And that's actually the truth. And that's the reason why we come out, we begin queuing. I feel like the reason why the economic crisis is being felt by the youth is because we don't have any handwork of our own.
Yes, that is true, and
part of it,
right?
Sure.
Because if you have a hand job you're doing and the country is bad, it won't really be a thing.
You are doing something by yourself.
Exactly.
You are producing something. In fact, the people will begin to look for you. Even the country will begin to look for you.
Another thing is, what are those skills that is necessary or that is kind of like a hot cake in the market? You know, these days people go and learn things that are
updated.
Yes. So you finish learning, at the end the service is no longer needed. Do you get?
Yeah, that's true.
But it's fine then. I think we've established the fact that even as much as economic crisis is a thing, we also have a hand in it. Because we go to school, we learn just practical. I mean, we learn just theory, and then there is no practical.
We learn to speak. We don't learn how to do.
We learn to speak. We don't learn to do.
Okay. I will also want to say something.
Yes, please.
Regardless of the fact that we go to school to learn, one thing I always believe is that education promised us a future, but not a job. That's one thing. So when you go to school, you are there to gather information on what to do, and you should have plans for yourself. And even if you've done that, one of the things I still sometimes I don't want to really, maybe let me say, align with that is because even if you are educated and you have a skill, you want to do something, if the system that you are going to enter in is not functioning well, you are still going to suffer. Do you get it? So despite the skill, despite what you can do and all those things, if the system is failing, it's going to tell on you. So like we said, trying to produce something, and you need materials, you need resources to produce those things. So now you get to a point where you cannot access those resources because of inflation. Prices of things are going high.
Okay,
it will affect you.
Now that you're actually establishing this, why would you say, or what are the reasons behind the worsening of economic system currently in the African continent?
Well, I'm going to make a scenario with 2 countries. Okay. Nigeria one, and another one is Burkina Faso.
All right.
Now, Nigeria, what is our problem in Nigeria? Mismanagement. Crisis.
Bad government.
Bad government. They are the one controlling the things. So they are mismanaging it. Now, let me give you an example. In the past 4 years, 25 businesses has left Nigeria. 25 businesses has left Nigeria. And that is going to create unemployment. 25 companies left Nigeria, and that's going to create unemployment. And you know, these youths are working for these companies. They will need money from there in order to go into whatsoever they want to venture into. That is one. And now there's unemployment. Now there is inflation. Prices of things are going high. So I don't have job. I don't even have money, and I can't afford anything. Now, I had an information the other time that the vice president of Nigeria, an amount of 25 billion naira was allocated for the renovation of his apartment. Now the question is, 25 billion naira, what was the initial cost of that apartment that it requires 25 billion to renovate? You see, they are mismanaging that money. And how many businesses in Nigeria? Some businesses in Nigeria need like 100, 200 million to thrive. And when those money is allocated for businesses, employment will be created, people will get job. But what happened? It is going into one person's pocket. They are not managing the resources properly.
All right, thank you very much. Sawisdom, regards to what he has said right now, should we say that, should we give kudos. I don't know if the word is okay to use, but should we encourage, since they're, like he established, some businesses, international businesses, have actually left the country. He used Nigeria as instances. And currently, I hope we know, or we all know, that internet fraud has actually become the order of the day.
Yes.
Now, the reason why internet fraud has actually become the order of the day is because there's no job. And the job that is available is requiring a very high level of experience that we don't have. Also, it is requiring a credential that we cannot afford. Also, they rather employ those that are well schooled abroad than we that are schooled in our own country. Would you want to encourage these people? I am not... Okay, I stand on a neutral ground. So should we say that what they are doing is actually in a way to actually survive?
Okay, I'm going to say it in two ways. Number one, let me start with the youth.
Okay.
When you don't have what to do what you have.
Okay.
If the government is not creating
a job
for us,
right,
not creating a platform for you, you don't fold your hands. You don't say, okay, because the system is bad, I can't do anything, so let me go into fraud, or let me do this. No. There must be a way out.
What if you don't have the means?
Over the years,
right.
The problem we have in Africa, pardon me to digress a little bit.
Yes, please.
Our people has created a lot of things, just that we don't link their name to such things.
Oh.
For example, over there in abroad, when they do anything, they say this person invented this.
Right.
This person invented this. We invented okra soup.
No one did. It just came into
Someone did.
Yeah.
But we don't know the name.
Actually.
And it's our people. What of all these other things we do here? Our people are doing things even before now. Let me quickly say this. Tomorrow will not be better than yesterday, or will not be better than today. I'm a pastor. People said God's time is the best.
Right.
Are you aware that there is no God's time in the Bible? Go and check your Bible. You will not see where it is written God's time is the best. It is a mentality that people create. So if our youth will create a positive mentality and grab and know that our country, our continent, Africa, will not give you a platform where you stand on a platter of gold to make it. It's going to be by your strength, by your mentality, by your thinking. Bible said, see it thou a man diligent in his business, he will stand before kings, not before mean men. And that scripture said that kings will come for your rising, not for your talent. People can come for your talent. You are talented, people are wow, good. But for your rising speaks of your excellence. So people, kings, influential people come for your excellence. So I want to encourage our youth out there. No matter what you have, you don't have anybody, you don't have money, you don't have anything, you have talent. There's a gift inside of you. You can do it. Then number two, there's system. There's the government. I was saying it before. They should create hope for this youth, because faith drives in the wings of hope. When there is hope, faith can become alive.
So hope you know that we are so impatient. The youth is the youth of this 21st century you are talking to.
Very impatient.
We are very impatient.
Very, very impatient.
I am talking to you based on experience. If it is not working, we leave it and bail.
That's it.
So
and that's why we're having problems.
Right.
Because we are impatient. That spirit of impatience is what is killing us. I was talking to some group of people the other day while I was in my counseling. I believe we remember when Nokia 3310 came out. People died because of it. I don't know if you can remember 3310.
Yeah.
People died. They went stealing 3310. That if somebody dash you now,
it's nothing. You
will not even receive it. Say the person, God bless you, thank you, take it. But people died because of it. So, and so many other things. So if we keep on with this spirit of impatience, that's why we are talking to them. They should drop this spirit of impatience. We know how things is right now, how everybody want to do this and that. But if they can give a little time, you were saying something. Some of the things we go to school to learn, some of them are no longer working today.
Yes.
I think another thing our government should do, as much as they are not creating platform for us, giving the youth money and other things, they should create a good curriculum for these youths. So that when we come, as they are in school, they will be able to learn about tomorrow, not learning yesterday. Most of the things we learn in our schools today is yesterday, not tomorrow.
I want to sound a bit biased.
Okay.
I want to take you home.
Okay.
Let's assume our parents. You have a father like Dangote. You have a father like
Otedola.
You have a father like our pastor here now, Pastor Wisdom, who are financially well-to-do.
Yeah.
Would the economic challenge be a problem to you? I'm talking to you directly.
To me?
Yes.
It's never going to be a problem to me.
So now the question I want to ask is, would you say that our parents have a hand in the challenge we the youth are facing in terms of economy?
Well, for me, I don't think.
Don't lie, oh.
No.
You go to hell.
No.
Don't lie.
I'm going to say this.
Yes.
I'm going to say this.
Yes.
So, like the Bible says, it said a good parent will leave inheritance for their children.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. So it means if our parents are poor, it's not our fault anyways. It's their own fault.
Right.
That means when their mates were doing something,
They were lazing around.
Yeah, they were actually doing something different. I can't tell.
Okay.
Yeah, but one thing I just want to say, like, if my dad or maybe my parents are billionaires, like Dangote, I cannot feel it. And I will not feel it. You know why? Because these big guys, they are the big players, and they are part of the system.
Right.
You can see sometimes they grant loans to some government projects.
Yes, of course.
You understand? So they are part of the system. So their children can never feel it. And when the economy is so hard in such a way, they will just take their children abroad,
Right.
where they can have a better life. So for me, I would just say I will never feel it. I will never feel it because I will choose to be abroad.
Are you aware, coming from this question you asked, that
Yes, please.
some of these guys are creating schools for their children? Like,
Yes.
like
Elon Musk, yeah.
He has a school where only his children.
Are going to.
Yes.
I have one in Nigeria now. Professor Chris Imumune, he has established a school. He
For
said
only his child.
yes. He said if my children fail, let it. If the system fail, let it be my children. Let them be the no others. But if they succeed, after some years, others can join.
Yeah.
So they are doing it now. So that gives them a platform. But I also still believe there are some of these guys that their children will grow up and they can be established because they are not rooted. They grew with the money or with the wealth.
And they don't discover
They
themselves.
don't
even
discover
while-
themselves. One happened in Togo here recently. One of my sons in the church came back one day and was asking me, says, sir, something happened in our school. I said, what happened? He said, one of my classmates asked, do people rent house in Lomé?
Okay.
Imagine such question. Do people rent house
In
in
Lomé.
Lomé? What happened? They were driving in that guy's car. So one of their friends was saying, my house rent is due. I need to pay and I don't have money. The guy was like, what? In Lomé? He said, poor people live in the village. I think everyone in town, in Lomé here, are rich guys. Everyone have their house.
Okay.
Because the father is well to do. I mean in Lomé here.
Oh, okay.
The guy grew up with money, everything is there. He wakes up, everything he needs is there. So he don't understand things. So tell me, how can that person discover himself? Even in the school he's going, he's doing nothing. At the end of the day, a good result will be issued.
Right.
So you find out that such a person can still end up not being established and not being a good citizen to the country. And that is why, like what my colleague is saying here, that is why we are still having bad systems. Because if you watch this leadership is the same people. And they are just handing it over to
Their sons.
their people who don't understand anything. They have not been on the road. I asked a flight today from Lagos to Owerri. They told me it's 300,000 naira. Flight from Lagos to Owerri, 300,000.
That used to be somewhere 50, 70,000.
30 something thousand. I started moving on flight when it was 20 something.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Till we get to 100 and we are saying it's costly. I asked today, it's 300. Who knows what it will be tomorrow? So these guys don't care. They enter with, even if you say 1 million, they enter there. So tomorrow
they have their own private
establish
jet
themselves. They don't think. So this crisis continues. We need people who have something upstairs, who have tested the both life to drive the system. Then it will balance.
Mr. Gedo.
Yeah.
We're about wrapping up. We're getting to the end already. Now, in our society today, whilst you were in school, what were some of the things you wished you knew then? You knew now, that you think if you had known then would have helped your financial situation get better?
Okay. some of the things that I know now,
right,
that I wish I had known them earlier.
Yeah.
Like, there is this book. I like to read books.
Okay.
So there's this book I came across it after I've graduated.
Okay.
The Richest Man in Babylon.
Okay.
So the economy of Babylon was explained. One of the wealthiest empire in those times, even before Jesus Christ.
Okay.
Yes, and how everybody there, an average Babylonian, at least they had money.
Okay.
So one of the things, even though I studied accounting and finance, I studied it, I know it, but there are certain details I know now. I didn't have those things back then, and I wish I had known them earlier.
Okay.
Yeah, because there are some things that are happening right now, like I wouldn't have been in that situation. So that's one of the things
He's not giving us details. Sir, do you have anything to say regarding this question?
No, like in terms of, handling my own money and all those things.
Oh,
yeah.
So, you mean being extravagant and
I'm not really
to save or being prudent? Is that it?
Yes, not really in that particular aspect, though, because I know how to spend my money. But in terms of maybe investment wise, yes, investment wise, how to channel your money to produce more money.
So, do you have anything to say?
Okay, in that area, I think one of the things I want to say to that is, if what I know now, I know it back then.
Yes.
I will save more than the way I spend. And that's one of the advice I give to everyone that comes around me. Investment helps you a lot in life. Most of the times, over those years, we plan on what to wear, what to buy, where to go. Like this is Christmas time now.
Where are we going?
Everybody's out there.
Tickets, yeah.
Yes, what do we go and spend? At the end of the day, you find out that within 1 week, you spend what you use 1 year to gather. So now we know more. So what I do now personally is I save and I invest. I save and I invest. There are two pains in life we must not forget. Number one is the pain of regret, and number two is the pain of I said the pain of regret and the pain of how do I say this? I'll get it back. I'll get it. Now, what pains do we do in regret? What you're supposed to do now, you didn't do it.
When you get to the future, you're like, I wish I did it.
When you get there, you begin to regret. It's a pain. And number two is the pain of discipline. The pain of discipline.
That's lack of discipline now.
Yes, because you don't discipline yourself now, you suffer it. I know. Quick, let me say this. In 2020, when there was crisis everywhere, I achieved what I never achieved in 10 years.
Wow.
Within a few months. Why? I was in that crisis as if, what if this thing continues? What if this thing continues? What will happen? So after achieving that, I came back to myself and said, but this is the same income I've been having all this while. Are you getting it? So discipline, one of the principles of discipline is that it pains you now and gives you gain tomorrow. So if we fail to discipline ourselves now, we'll face the pain of regret tomorrow. But if we discipline ourselves today, we face the pain of discipline now and enjoy it tomorrow.
All right, guys, you guys have heard it from their mouths. It's direct. We've actually come to the end of today's show. It's always interesting each time you guys come. So thank you very much for coming.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Gedo, for coming. We are very grateful you guys are able to come today. We've come to the end of today's show. I think I'm going to help with the conclusion. So people have heard it. 2 pains of regret and pains of discipline. So in order for you not to feel this both, first of all, be disciplined now and try as much as possible not to regret the future tomorrow. Now, it's possible. Like Pastor Wisdom said, he actually encouraged the government to actually create a platform where, we, the youth, actually learn entrepreneurship. And like Mr. Gedo said, economic crisis, it has actually become a thing. It's become a consistent factor. But then, it's possible. It depends on how creative your mind is. So it's actually possible. Here's the thing. It's from us. If our parents are Dangotes and Otedola, would have done better. But then, it does not stop us, the growing ones, or this generation, to actually take back what has been taken away from us, meaning that we can actually do better.
Sure.
Yeah. So we've come to the end of today's show once again. Thank you all very much for joining us. Before we wrap up, we are going to be giving a shout out to our production team. We want to give a shout out to the director, Monsieur Yengao, Richard. First of all, we want to give a shout out to the producer, Mr. Jerry Etonam. He's the producer for the lifestyle show. And then we want to give a shout out to the director, Richard Kofanga. Yeah, and his assistant, Kristen Obanikwa. And then we also want to give a shout out to the broadcasting team, Mr. Ekwe Florence, and then Mr. Senyon Wompa. And then for the cameraman, Mr. Fofo Golo. These are the people that have actually helped to put together the lifestyle show. Thank you all very much. Until we come your way next week, stay blessed, stay safe. Plenty love from me to you. Bye-bye.